Renee Nicole Good was killed by an ICE officer a few days ago, and I know that all of you already know that. I was one of the first people to chime in on social media to wait until all the evidence came out to reserve an opinion on what happened. And it's a tragedy that someone was killed. However, that being said, you know, and you look through the news media immediately following the incident, like within an hour, CBS, NBC, CNN, all the leftist news media, and they immediately vilified the ICE agent without any information, talking about how he murdered her, how she was on her way to school, which is a complete lie, on and on and on. And I think it's interesting that, you know, the left, whenever violence is perpetrated against the left, even when they are obstructing justice and obstructing arrests, trying to get pedophiles and rapists out of the neighborhood, and yet these people are literally legitimately good people, ICE agents. They have families. They're just trying to protect our country by and large. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't the, you know, 10% or 5% or 1% or whatever percent of jerks who take advantage of their power and abuse people. I'm not saying that ICE is a saintly organization, but you have to imagine the immense pressure that they're under to make the exact decision, the right decision on a momentary notice without knowing anything about what's going on. If a car comes and blocks you off in a street, right, you don't know that people aren't going to come out of the houses with machine guns. You don't know if you are going to be attacked. That could be a trap, right? And if you tell someone to get out of a car and the car is moving forward towards you, it's not stopping and opening the door, you don't know that person is going to continue to back up, to try again, to sideswipe you. You don't know, right? In that case, those officers are trained. When that vehicle becomes a weapon, they are trained to shoot, and they're trained to shoot to kill. And he did what he was trained to do. Now, I'm not defending him necessarily. Could he have made a different decision? I mean, if you back up a half hour, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, yeah, maybe he could have de-escalated better. Maybe he could have stood somewhere else. Maybe he could have interacted with her more. I don't know. But in the momentary decision, when that car starts to move towards him, right, he has the right to use lethal force. Now, as a caveat to that, I think it's also interesting that the left immediately go into the streets, partially because they're stirred up by Soros and all of his gang, and they have paid protesters that are, you know, ready to go at a moment's notice. But I think it's interesting, when Charlie Kirk was shot or Trump was shot, did we see any riots at all? Did we see any riots? And we're supposed to be the fascists, right? We're supposed to be the authoritarians. We're supposed to be the violent ones. But that's never the case. People on the right, by and large, they want liberty, they want smaller government, and they just want to be left alone. But the left, all they want is power, power, power.